Welcome to The Newsworthy. All the day's news in less than 10 minutes. Fast, fair, fun, and on the go. Thanks so much for listening. Today we are talking about the back and forth on healthcare and what the president did or did not say. Plus self-driving cars, Amazon pitches, and Netflix binge racing. All that and more in less than 10 minutes. I'm Erica Mandy. Today is Thursday, October 19th. You ready? Let's do this. Well, it turns out President Trump maybe doesn't like the healthcare deal after all. He tweeted yesterday he could never support bailing out insurance companies he says have made money because of Obamacare. Remember, the White House recently stopped paying subsidies to health insurers. Critics say without a plan, though, to pay them again, premiums will go up and it could hurt lower-income people. A Republican and Democrat got together to respond. They came up with a plan earlier this week for what they call a temporary fix to avoid possible chaos in the insurance markets. It would provide some payments for 2 years and then give states more flexibility on how they would actually run Obamacare. More details on the deal could be coming out today, so we'll see what happens next and whether this deal, will actually become law or not. Attorney General Jeff Sessions was in the hot seat again. He testified for a second time in front of the Senate Judiciary Committee. You know, the set of lawmakers who run various hearings and can look into potential federal crimes. The New York Times reports Sessions wouldn't comment much about conversations he had with the president. He cited the executive privilege of president, where basically you can keep conversations private. Fox reports he had a fiery back and forth with one lawmaker in particular about his interactions with Russians and how his story has changed over time. Sessions said, bottom line, he didn't do anything inappropriate. Did he or didn't he say it? There's been a he said, she said thing going on about what President Trump said on a call with the widow of a fallen soldier. A Democratic congresswoman says she was on the call and heard the president say, quote, he knew what he signed up for, talking about the soldier killed in Niger. But President Trump fired back, saying that account is, quote, totally fabricated, and that he has proof, but it's not clear what the proof may be. A White House spokeswoman also called it appalling the congresswoman politicized this. But the soldier's wife told the AP she backs up the claim and said the president did show disrespect. A total of 4 soldiers died in Niger. For the first time, the security guard shot during the Las Vegas shooting spoke in public about what happened. Jesus Campos talked to Ellen, and it aired on the Ellen DeGeneres show yesterday. He said he's doing better each day. He described how he first went to that floor because a door was left open. Then he said he heard what sounded like drilling, then rapid gunfire. He was shot through a door, and he called it in on his radio. Ellen told him he saved lives, including the building engineer he warned about what was happening. She surprised him with gifts and a donation to victims. Could it be your city? Today is the deadline for cities and metros to file those proposals to be the chosen one for Amazon's second headquarters. It's dubbed HQ2. Remember, Amazon is running what almost seems like a Shark Tank episode, telling cities to make their pitch to why they should win the big investment. We're talking a promised 50,000 jobs and $5 billion over time. But a writer for Fast Company warns it may not be the dream many cities think it could be. The report says people outside the state could end up filling many of those jobs and then be moving to your city, and growth can be expensive, especially if Amazon gets big-time tax breaks. All right, those of you who live in New York City, get ready to drive next to driverless cars. Sort of. The Wall Street Journal reports General Motors will be the first company to start testing out self-driving cars in NYC. GM will send out self-driving Chevy Bolt electric cars. That said, they'll all have so-called safety drivers behind the wheel, gathering data and taking over if something goes wrong. The cars will be tested within a 5-square-mile section of Lower Manhattan starting early next year. Okay, other things people may be talking about today. There's a bad outbreak of hepatitis A in San Diego. The LA Times says it's the largest spread of the disease since the vaccine came out back in the 90s. Now the state of California is trying to get more people vaccinated and is sanitizing more areas. There's more than 500 confirmed cases now and 19 deaths. The outbreak started within San Diego's homeless community, but reports say it's since spread. Twitter is going after bullies. Reuters says Twitter wants to stop sexual harassment and hate on its site and will have some new rules in the next few weeks. On the list, more specific guidelines about how you'll get kicked off Twitter immediately, like what kind of nudity, pictures, and hate symbols are a big no-no. Also, bystanders will be able to report sexual harassment, not just the people actually involved. You can now pay with Venmo at more places, at least online. It's owned by PayPal, so the company said you can now use Venmo almost everywhere you can use PayPal. TechCrunch reports they added more than 2 million online retailers to the list of partners. How many of you have watched an entire TV show season within 24 hours? I bet at least some of you have, because Netflix just revealed that 8.4 million users have watched an entire season within 24 hours of its release. Time says they call it Binge Racing. It's pretty rare for Netflix to talk about its viewership numbers and habits, but the company revealed the top 3 shows for this so-called binge racing around the world are Gilmore Girls, Fuller House, and Marvel's The Defenders. Lego is coming out with a Women of NASA set. It features 4 female scientists, engineers, and astronauts. Business Insider says it's part of a trend to make sure toys are more inclusive of women. The idea was submitted to Lego's Ideas community, where if something gets enough votes, Lego will actually consider making it. The person who came up with the idea then gets a 1% cut of sales and licensing revenue. The new set will be $25 and goes on sale starting November 1st. And that's it. You are ready to go. If you want to read more, head on over to thenewsworthy.com, click show notes, find today's episode, and you'll see the list of links. As always, be sure to subscribe and find me on social. I'm on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter under Erica Mandy or the NW Podcast. The Newsworthy comes out every day, Monday through Friday by 4 a.m. Eastern Time. Thanks so much again for listening. Until tomorrow, have a great day.